Hey everybody, welcome to Drive-Thru Review number 180. Today we're going to talk about Smash Up, the first expansion for this game called Awesome Level 9000. I'm not going to preamble too much here, I'm just going to jump in and tell you what comes in the box. One thing to note is that you can actually play this standalone with 2 players. It does include a bunch of the bases from the first game, and then you've basically got 4 factions and then enough to, make 2 decks and like, I don't know, several combinations with all those different decks. So let's just jump in and see what's in the box. So as you can see, you've got a little sort of travel sized box here, but there is a little bit of room to include some other factions. So if you wanted to grab a couple of factions from the base game and just have a few to play with 2 players, you could do that. This expansion comes with 4 factions. You've got the Bear Cavalry, the Ghosts, the Plants, and the Steampunks. First we have the Ghost expansion, and a lot of these cards you'll be discarding cards, and some of the effects that you're going to have will be based off the number of cards in your hand. So if you have very few cards in your hand, then you'll be able to do a little bit more effective actions in the game. And then some of the cards will actually let you play cards out of your discard pile. So in a sense, you try to keep a small hand, but the discard pile is basically part of your hand in a sense. So these are really cool to splash with other factions. It's really fun to put these with the zombies because it's just pure discard manipulation, so it's a very neat faction. Next we have the Plant faction, and this one's sort of a slow delivery faction. A lot of this is you're going to be playing cards and playing more cards and then kind of getting to a point where you can kind of swarm and play lots of different effects with these. So these, again, this is another one that you can splash with. And then next you've got the Steampunks, and these are all about getting actions out onto the different bases. So once you get an action out, then you can have other minions, get little beefs and bonuses and get extra power for all the actions that you have on the base. So this one will kind of combo good with anything else that has lots of ongoing factions that you're going to leave on the base and have a persistent, nature with those. Then we've got my favorite faction, which is the Bear faction. This is sort of a Russian-based faction, and you can tell only in Soviet Russia. Let's see if you get that one. But this is a neat one. I really like the art on this one more than anything. This is a lot of moving around, characters from base to base. So if you play this with the pirates, you can do extra manipulation that way. And then in addition to the 4 new factions, they've reprinted all the bases from the first game with brand new art. And then they've added 4 new bases, which are actually themed based on all 4 of the new factions. You've got the Inventor's Salon, which is sort of like a steampunk location. You've got the Greenhouse, which kind of goes along with the Plant, and you can see the effect here. The winner may search his or her deck for a minion and play it on the base that replaces this one. In the Plant faction, there's also a lot of cards that let you search your deck and grab certain cards. You've got the Haunted House. This kind of goes with the Ghost faction. After a player plays a minion here, that player must discard a card. Again, lots of discarding with the Ghost faction. Then you've got the interesting Tsar's Palace. So with this one, minions of power 2 or less cannot be played here. So this is kind of interesting because it'll sort of focus a lot of your big hitters to be played there. And finally, they've decided to include victory point chips. So this is nice, for keeping score. It's just a built-in way to easily divvy out scores, when you score your bases. So what do I have to say about this game? I'm kind of at a loss for words because it's just kind of more of the same, but that's not such a bad thing. You've got 4 new factions. The game's designed from the ground up to be infinitely expandable to a certain extent, and you basically just have fun swapping in and different combos and faction mixing and things like that, and you just have fun with the game. It's not too serious, you just kind of mix it up, have fun, and then don't really care who wins. Just try to pull off cool combos and different effects, dig through your discard pile, play from your discard pile, search, move guys around, blow things up. So more Smash Up. I'd say if you have Smash Up, then this is a no-brainer. It's pretty cheap. I think you can find it for about 15 or 20 bucks depending on where you're buying it. But the cool thing is if you wanted to try it and just have a 2-player game, you could do that. But to me, the price point of the base game is not that much more, so I would just get the base game. If you're going to get a standalone, I would just get the base game. Or just get both, and then you've got that much more to mix up. So anyway, that's the Smash Up expansion. Have fun with it. If you're a Smash Up fan, just pick it up. You don't need me to tell you. Thanks.